Good evening and welcome to the Ghana TV9 News Bulletin for Tuesday, January 13, 2026. I'm Paul Abrams. In the headlines tonight, census shows 384% surge in cross-border migration. Venezuelans now 82% of new arrivals. Learner-driver training heads to schools in major road safety push. Georgetown mayor announces decisive transformation of Merriman's Mall into modern state-of-the-art market. No sanctions, no excuses. Bar Association president calls out 25 years of silence as justice system buckles under delay. Magistrates courts handle 90% of criminal cases, 30,000 cases filed in 2025. Government awaits official word on reported U.S. visa revocation of senior police officer, says Minister Warren. And double death shocks Workmanville. Former couple found dead in guest house. Now for the news in depth. A quiet Lime Street guest house in Workmanville became the scene of a grim discovery early Tuesday morning after the lifeless bodies of two employees were found in separate rooms under circumstances pointing to a suspected murder-suicide. Here's more.
The deceased have been identified as Lorian, a 31-year-old housekeeper whose address remains unknown, and Cyril Saul, a 36-year-old security guard of Lime Street, Wortmanville. Both were on overnight duty at the guest house between 5 hours and 8:15 hours on Tuesday, January 13, 2026, and were the only staff present at the time. When Ghana TV9 arrived on the scene, ranks from the Ghana Police Force were seen combing the crime scene to ascertain what could have possibly transpired. Sources indicate that the pair had previously been involved in an intimate relationship which reportedly ended about 2 months ago. Upon arrival at the scene, ranks discovered the woman lying motionless in one of the guest house rooms bearing visible injuries. The man was found unresponsive in a separate room. A doctor from the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation later pronounced both individuals dead at the scene. Investigators recovered several items from the premises, including a firearm, ammunition, a knife, and a quantity of a suspected substance, all of which have been secured for forensic analysis. CCTV footage from the location has also been reviewed and is playing a key role in the probe, while several individuals have since been contacted and questioned. The bodies were escorted to the Memorial Funeral Parlor mortuary, where post-mortem examinations are pending as the investigation continues. The tragic incident has sent shockwaves through the Wortmanville community, raising renewed concerns about domestic conflicts and workplace safety. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
Ghana's 2022 census reveals cross-border migrants from Venezuela, Suriname, and Brazil jumped 384.4% over the decade, from 3,193 in 2012 to 15,467 in 2022, driven by a 1,452.6% surge in Venezuelans, who now make up 81.8% of the recorded arrivals, though officials warn the true tally is likely far higher due to uncounted, mobile, and undocumented populations. Here's more.
According to census findings from the Bureau of Statistics, the number of migrants from Guyana's 3 bordering countries increased by 384.4%, climbing from 3,193 in 2012 to 15,467 in the 2022 census. The figures exclude migrants who fell within non-contact populations and those who were not captured during enumeration. Officials from the Bureau of Statistics said the figures form part of the preliminary results of the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. Venezuelans accounted for the largest share of migrants recorded in the 2022 census, representing 81.81% of the total migrant population from the 3 neighboring states. This marks a dramatic shift from previous censuses, where Venezuelans formed the smallest migrant group. Between 2012 and 2022, the number of Venezuelan migrants recorded surged by 1,452.64%. Migrants from Suriname and Brazil followed, and have been shown to be significantly smaller in numbers than Venezuela. While Brazilians have historically formed a notable migrant group, their growth rate was far outpaced by the sharp rise in Venezuelan arrivals over the decade. Despite the spike increase Reflected in the census data, authorities acknowledge that the figures understate the true scale of migration. Challenges in counting migrants, particularly those who are mobile, undocumented, or living in remote areas, affected the accuracy of the enumeration. Administrative records highlight this gap. Between 2018 and 2022, some 19,709 Venezuelans were registered through official systems, compared with 12,654 Venezuelans recorded in the census. Even though administrative figures do not account for migrants who may have returned to Venezuela, died, or used Guyana as a transit point to other countries, nor do they capture undocumented migrants, the report stated. International estimates suggest the migrant population may be significantly larger. The United Nations, through the International Organization for Migration, IOM, estimates that approximately 40,456 Venezuelan migrants were present in Guyana as of mid-2024. The continued inflow has been linked to Venezuela's ongoing socio-economic and political challenges, which have driven many citizens to leave in search of better living conditions. The Bureau noted that further research is necessary to provide a more accurate picture of migration patterns in Guyana, particularly in relation to undocumented migrants and transient populations. As cross-border movement continues to shape Guyana's demographic landscape, the findings underscore the growing need for responsive policies in areas such as health, housing, employment, and social services. The census data confirms that cross-border migration has become an increasingly important demographic and development issue for Guyana, one that is expected to remain significant in the years ahead. The sharp increase in migration from Venezuela into Guyana is largely driven by Venezuela's prolonged socio-economic and political crisis, which has led to widespread shortages in food, medicine, and basic services, high unemployment, and declining living standards. Persistent economic instability, hyperinflation, and limited access to healthcare and education have forced many Venezuelans to seek survival and opportunity outside their country. Guyana's geographic proximity, shared border, relative political stability, and improving economic prospects, particularly in employment, trade, and access to services, have made it an attractive destination and transit point for Venezuelan migrants seeking safety, income, and improved living quality of life.
The Minister of Home Affairs, Onish Walren, says the government of Ghana has not received any official notification from the United States regarding reports that Senior Superintendent Mitchell Caesar's U.S. visa has been revoked. Adala Doric has this report.
Speaking with reporters, Minister Walren explained that the issue came to the government's attention through media reports and that the authorities are awaiting formal communication from U.S. officials before responding.
I became aware of the news article, but the government has not been officially notified.
But do you say how will the government will treat with it? And what would be the procedures for investigating, inquiring?
As you know, we have to get further details. So reasons, if there's going to be official communication, then we will assess those reasons that's presented and then treat with it accordingly. But so far we have none.
Reports emerged on Tuesday alleging that Senior Superintendent Caesar's U.S. visa had been revoked, with claims linking him to allegations of corruption, bribery, and interference in criminal investigations. Addressing questions about whether other members of the local law enforcement community have been sanctioned by the United States, the minister noted that only cases already in the public domain are known to her.
Well, the ones that you are aware of, the ones that I'm aware of, which are in the public domain. So otherwise, there is none other that I'm aware of. Usually, when these things happen, they come in the public domain. So I'm not aware of any other sanctions to this officer outside of those in the public domain.
The alleged visa revocation comes amid a long history of unresolved allegations against Caesar. In 2022, he was at the center of public controversy following the fatal shooting of businessman Ricardo Fagundes outside Palm Court. Over the years, he has also faced accusations of corruption, bribery, interference in criminal cases, and alleged association with the questionable figures. Reports suggest that he was questioned by U.S. authorities in 2024 while on vacation, but the circumstances of that inquiry remain undisclosed. Adala Doric, Ghana TV9 News.
Students across Guyana are set to gain hands-on road safety knowledge as the National Road Safety Council launches its Learner Drivers Package in schools in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. The program, highlighted by Ramona Durgin, coordinator of the Ghana National Road Safety Council, during an exclusive interview with Ghana TV9 News, aims to provide young people with practical skills and awareness to prevent accidents. More in this Faith Sandy report.
According to the Council, this initiative forms part of a wider strategy to reduce road fatalities, encourage lifelong safe driving habits, and support other educational and international training programs across the country. Among the Council's key initiatives for this year is the rollout of a Learner Drivers Package in schools in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. The program is designed to introduce road safety principles at an early age, equipping students with the knowledge needed to become responsible road users. The Council also plans to launch a national road safety magazine, which will focus on public education, awareness, and best practices for safer roads.
We're working with the Ministry of Education and the other stakeholders that we will be implementing the rollout of this Learner Drivers Package in the schools. That's one of our priorities this year. We also will be launching the National Road Safety Magazine this year. We also will be, we have a press conference will be the first thing that we're doing this month. So we can let the public and the drivers and the media know what are some of our major initiatives that we're having going forward.
Durjan also highlighted a strong international training and education focus centered on the Safe Systems approach, a globally recognized strategy proven to reduce road deaths. As part of this effort, the University of Guyana is expected to play a central role, working alongside international institutions including the University of Delft, the University of Vienna, and Columbia University in New York. These collaborations aim to introduce structured road safety education and certification programs locally.
The course that we want to start is the introduction of the Safe Systems approach and understanding the Safe Systems principle in the University of Guyana, in the Civil Engineers Department, and all the other department that has to do with the Safe Systems. Because the Safe Systems is made up of 5 pillars. They talk about engineering, they talk about road safety management, they talk about road safety behavior, they talk about behavior change for road users, it talks about safe speed, it also talks about the emergency measures. So this is a Safe Systems approach that will reduce deaths on the roadway.
The training initiatives will target civil engineers, public health students, contractors, and ministry officials, ensuring road safety considerations are integrated into infrastructure design, public health planning, and policy implementation. According to Durjan, these measures align with Vision Zero principles, a global strategy focused on eliminating road traffic deaths by addressing speed, behavior, enforcement, engineering, and emergency response.
Persons at the University of Guyana, like students that are doing different courses, public health, and different courses, civil engineering. So they can do this course also to gain credits for the degrees that we're doing. And then we also, in the proposal, we propose that we do it privately with private persons like contractors and ministry people and all of them. So we have a broader understanding, like the contractors that will be doing the roads and designers and all of that. So we can offer them at a small fee. So those who are doing courses at University of Guyana, we will be able to do it through some method where it will be twinning with these international universities.
The National Road Safety Council states that these initiatives represent a comprehensive, long-term approach to road safety, emphasizing prevention, education, and system-wide responsibility, as Guyana works toward reducing fatalities and creating safer roads for all. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
More news on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who became 18 years or older on December 31, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change or correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. All GCOM registration offices will open Mondays to Fridays from 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy. GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who became 18 years or older on December 31, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. You're watching the Ghana TV9 News Bulletin. For years, Merriman's Mall has functioned as a central commercial space in Georgetown. But on Monday, City Mayor Alfred Mentor has made it clear that the status quo is no longer acceptable. As the city accelerates its modernization drive, City Hall is moving decisively to transform the area into a state-of-the-art market designed to meet the needs of the rapidly growing capital. Here's more.
Speaking at the statutory meeting of the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, Mayor Mentor announced that all previous designs for the redevelopment of Merriman's Mall have been formally discarded as they fall short of the standards required for a modern capital city. A plan submitted in 2025, he said, does not align with the administration's vision for sustainable, resilient urban infrastructure. The mayor underscored that the redevelopment will be accompanied by firm enforcement measures to ensure order and proper use of public space. He made it clear that once work commences, the area will no longer be used for vending, and any attempts to reoccupy the site will be met with decisive action.
We'll address those matters, and we'll address those matters in a very clear and concise way so that we could get the support from the union and support from the constabulary and how we treat this. So I'm hopeful that before Mr. Reid leaves, he could speak to shed some light on this here. I don't know if we will be able to have a committee meeting where he will start that process.
Once finalized, the new market design will be submitted for technical review before being brought back to the council for consideration, ensuring compliance with modern engineering, safety, and planning standards. Acknowledging the scale of the project, Mentor said the council will formally engage the central government for financial support, reflecting a collaborative approach to the national development.
There was this one meeting at the Commercial, then there was a meeting of the legal affairs and all of that. But then And some of the things will end up being lumped where they also include eventual officers and all kind of things. Which, when the local government look at it, they said that what they're capable of doing and what they're incapable of doing as it relates to certain positions. They can't keep it. They could conform certain things, but they can't um, deal with certain other matters.
The redevelopment initiative also forms part of the broader efforts to restore order within the border market present. Vendors who had been operating illegally outside Yip's Bakery were removed last week following a long-standing issue and a court order directing that the area be cleared. Mentor updated councillors on the related legal proceedings, explaining that the matter, initially scheduled for hearing last Thursday, is now set to be heard in the High Court on January 16. Additionally, the mayor drew attention to ongoing challenges posed by unauthorized vending and traffic congestion along Alexander and Robb Streets and Orange Walk, stressing that these issues must be addressed as part of a comprehensive plan to improve mobility, safety, and commercial regulation in the city. As Georgetown continues its transformation, City Hall, in partnership with central government, remains focused on enforcing the rule of law, modernizing infrastructure, and creating a capital that reflects national growth and development priorities. Donna Dore, again, TV9 News.
President of the Ghana Bar Association, Kamal Ramkaran, has raised serious concerns about accountability within the legal profession, revealing that no lawyer in Guyana has been suspended or struck off in more than 25 years, even as delays continue to plague the justice system.
Addressing the opening of the law year 2026 at a special sitting of the full bench of the High Court on Tuesday, Ramkaran said lawyers must confront their own role in slowing down justice instead of directing blame elsewhere.
Interrogating reasons and appeals also hold judges accountable. Questioning timelines for judgment delivery and the hearing of cases on appeals are not an attack on the judiciary. These things also seek to hold the system and the people operating that system accountable. Lawyers also need to be held accountable. We cannot complain that cases take too long to be completed if it is the lawyers who are delaying them by not being prepared and by seeking adjournments.
Ramkaran described the bar's disciplinary framework as effectively broken, noting that meaningful sanctions against attorneys have been absent for decades.
No lawyer has ever been the subject of proceedings of suspension or removal from the court rolls in well over 25 years, and perhaps much longer. Nor is it possible to remove a judge for judicial behavior. We all know Barnwell and the Attorney General. If we are to be held accountable, there must be open and transparent systems to deal with misbehavior from judges and lawyers in a proper and fair manner. Systems must ensure that the highest professional standards are met by judges and lawyers, and if not, consequences should flow.
He also sounded the alarm on the lack of continuing legal education, warning that lawyers are permitted to practice indefinitely without keeping pace with changes in the law.
There is no system of continuing legal education in the bar among lawyers. If a lawyer never wanted to read another law book or judgment after law school, it would be completely open for that lawyer to do so.
Emphasizing that accountability must extend across the justice system, Ramkaran rejected the notion that scrutiny equates to hostility towards the judiciary. He said reviewing appeals, interrogating delays, and questioning judgment timelines are essential safeguards, not attacks. Quote unquote, these things seek to hold the system and the people operating that system accountable, he said, adding that public confidence depends on consistently enforced professional standards. Ramkaran noted that unless delay and inaction are no longer tolerated, inefficiency will remain the defining feature of Ghana's justice system at a cause borne by the public it is meant to serve. Adana Dore, Ghana TV9 News.
The Ministry of Agriculture has begun distributing $150,000 cash grants to registered fisherfolk in Region 2 and 6 as part of government's efforts to cushion the sector while advancing long-term reform. The exercise outlines plans to modernize the fishing industry, addressing declining catches, and create sustainable income opportunities beyond traditional marine fishing. More in this report.
Agriculture Minister Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa emphasized that fisherfolk must move away from dependence on a single livelihood, urging a change in mindset and a transition toward modern practices. He noted that many fishermen rely solely on river and ocean fishing, stressing that development of both individuals and the industry requires embracing new opportunities created by the government.
Besides that, as fisher folks, we should not only look at one direction. We must ensure we take up the opportunities that will be created by this government. And when I mean the opportunities, many of you all who are here, I know for a fact, are plying your trade in the river and in the ocean.
The minister acknowledged that marine fishing stocks are declining, with present-day catches significantly smaller than those recorded a decade ago. He also pointed to marketing challenges and low prices, announcing plans to rehabilitate and restructure fisherfolk cooperatives along the Essequibo coast to ensure fair representation and stronger bargaining power within the sector.
We have depletion in the fishing industry, especially marine fishing. Many of you all would have gone out there. When you come back and you compare your catches now, from 10 years ago, your catches is smaller today than 10 years ago. But sometimes when you catch enough fish, you don't get the kind of market and the prices for those catches. So all those things we are looking to take into consideration, because I was speaking to some member, we have some co-ops here on the Essequibo coast, and I'll be asking my colleague Minister of Labor, to get these people to come and resuscitate these cooperatives. In the Ministry of Agriculture, we are fortunate that we have now the Director General, who was working at the Ministry of Labor, the Chief Labor Officer, and he has a lot of ideas about these cooperatives.
Minister Mustafa says the cash grant, combined with structural reforms and diversification initiatives, is intended to build a reliable, resilient, and sustainable fishing industry, providing fisherfolk with both immediate financial relief and long-term economic security. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
More news after the break. Stay tuned.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008, 600-5006. Or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 Building.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who became 18 years or older on December 31, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. You're watching the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. The Chancellor of the Judiciary, the Honorable Roxanne George Wiltshire, addressing a special sitting of the full bench of the Supreme Court of Judicature on Tuesday, noted that the Magistrates Court handled roughly 90% of the nation's criminal caseload, as well as civil matters such as petty debts, landlord-tenant disputes, domestic violence, and family cases. In 2025, these courts filed approximately 30,000 criminal cases and 700 civil cases. Here's more.
The judiciary again is advancing a comprehensive modernization plan aimed at improving efficiency, transparency, and public trust across all court levels. The Chancellor of the Judiciary announced during a special sitting of the Supreme Court of Judicature. The Chancellor outlined key statistics highlighting the current state of the country's courts. The magistrates' courts, which handled roughly 90% of the nation's criminal caseload as well as civil matters such as petty debts, landlord-tenant disputes, domestic violence, and family cases, filed about 30,000 criminal cases and 700 civil cases in 2025. However, staffing shortages have created operational challenges, particularly in managing inquiries and preparing records for appeal and committal proceedings.
Though paper committals have eased the workload of magistrates in that they no longer have to take down the evidence. However, the staffing of court offices for the efficient management of cases dealt with by magistrates is a major challenge. I will return to this when I address human resources. There are still many pending inquests, given that magistrates give priority to the high volume of trial matters. While there is provision for the appointment of persons who are not magistrates to be coroners, such appointments must be based on the data regarding where the need is most, recognizing that an administrative infrastructure must be in place to support such appointments. A comprehensive review of the magistracy will be done in order to determine the caseloads of magisterial districts, as well as the volume of case filings for particular types of matters.
Despite these gaps, the High Court has successfully eliminated the backlog of civil cases in the registry, assisted by the implementation of the Civil Procedures Rules of 2016. 5,847 civil cases were filed nationwide in 2025, covering constitutional, commercial, family, and estate matters. The Land Court Division handled approximately 1,500 cases across the 3 counties in 2025. Though backlogs remain due to the previous shortage of commissioners of title, the Court of Appeal, meanwhile, faces a backlog of about 2,000 cases, which the judiciary plans to address through the appointment of additional judges of appeal and the implementation of a robust case management system. In terms of criminal justice, 264 indictments were filed nationwide in 2025, with significant progress made in the Demerara High Court due to multiple judges being assigned to criminal matters. The Chancellor emphasized that better investigations, strong evidence, and plea bargainings are critical for reducing trial delays.
The criminal caseload in the Demerara High Court has been reduced significantly because 4 or 5 judges are assigned to hear these cases. However, Berbice and Essequibo will most likely need additional judges, as has been done in Demerara, to better manage the criminal case docket. This said, better investigations which produce strong evidence will encourage accused to enter into plea bargaining, therefore enhancing the investigative capacity of law enforcement agencies is critical to the more efficient administration of the criminal justice system.
The judiciary is also moving towards digital transformation, including the rollout of an e-filing and case management system for magistrates' courts, as well as fully operational e-litigation portal for the High Court and Court of Appeal. These measures aim to allow 24-hour access to case files, reduce dependence on physical files, and enable seamless online transfer of court records. The strategic plan covering 2024 to 2031 emphasizes investments in human resources, technology, and management systems. The Supreme Court has faced significant staff attrition, losing over 100 staff members in the last year alone, creating serious operational challenges. A comprehensive human resources audit is underway to guide the restructuring, improve remuneration, and strengthen staff capacity. The Chancellor also highlighted ongoing legislative reform efforts, including updates to the Bail Act, legal procedures for magistrates, and the regulation of attorneys, aimed at enhancing the efficiency and integrity of the judicial system. Colwyn Abrams, TV9 News.
In tonight's regional news coming out of Trinidad, 3-year-old preschool student Omari Richards died after falling ill at his home in Corinth Hills, San Fernando, hours after eating pineapple and pepperoni pizza on Sunday evening. According to his mother, Victoria Harrow, the child later complained of pain in his head and stomach and continued to feel unwell into the early hours of Monday. She last saw him alive at around 2:30 a.m. and shortly before dawn. Discovered him unresponsive and covered in vomit, prompting an urgent call for help. A post-mortem examination conducted by forensic pathologist Dr. Hubert Daisley found that the child died from cerebral edema, aspiration, pneumonitis, and a lower respiratory tract infection. Police have classified the death as unnatural and are awaiting toxicology results amid concerns that the child may have ingested contaminated water, possibly containing insecticide or herbicide. Internationally, thousands of people are feared dead following a sweeping crackdown on weeks of anti-government protests in Iran, with an Iranian security official telling Reuters the death toll could be around 2,000, including security personnel. Human rights groups report rapid death sentences against detained protesters, widespread violence, and an ongoing internet blackout that has made it difficult to verify information or communicate with the outside world, deepening international concerns over the scale of the repression. Amid the unrest, US President Donald Trump has publicly urged Iranians to continue protesting, declaring that, quote, help is on its way, though he has not specified what form that support might take. And that has brought us to the end of tonight's newscast. Remember to check out our Facebook and YouTube platforms at GUI TV9 for more trending stories. I'm Colin Abrams.